King Robert Baratheon rides north to Winterfell with Queen Cersei, Prince Joffrey, their children, and the Lannister brothers Jaime and Tyrion to reunite with Ned Stark, the old comrade who helped him topple the mad Targaryen king during Robert's rebellion. Now Robert wants Ned as the new Hand and Sansa Stark betrothed to Joffrey. Catelyn warns Ned that Tywin Lannister murdered Jon Arryn, yet Ned still accepts Robert's offer, bound by honor with him ride. Robb, Sansa, Arya, Bran, Rickon, and the bastard Jon Snow, each child shadowed by a dire wolf, while Theon Greyjoy, hostage-turned-brother, rides beside Robb, loyalty and secrets braided tight. Before the royal convoy leaves Winterfell, young Bran Stark stumbles upon Queen Cersei and her twin brother Jaime in an incestuous embrace. Jaime silences the boy by hurling him from a tower, plunging Bran into a coma. Ned Stark rides south with daughters Sansa and Arya, while Jon Snow gifts Arya her sword needle, before exiling himself to the dwindling Night's Watch. As Catelyn guards Bran, an assassin strikes. Bran's direwolf Summer rips the killer apart. Catelyn, convinced the Lannisters ordered the hit, sees Jon Snow, a noble bastard, joins the Night's Watch, an exile corps of condemned men, bringing only his direwolf, Ghost, and the guidance of Uncle Benjen Stark. When Benjen vanishes beyond the wall, Jon, scorned and lonely, masters the Watch's harsh oaths, wins brothers in arms like Sam, Pip, and the bookish Samwell Tarly, earns Lord Commander Jorah Mormont's trust, and after saving him from ravenous White Walkers, myths made flesh, receives the priceless Valyrian steel blade, Longclaw. Valyrian steel can kill White Walkers. As Ned rides south with daughters, Sansa's fairy tale cracks when sadistic Prince Joffrey makes the Hound murder Arya's friend, Arya's direwolf. Nymeria mauls Joffrey. Cersei demands blood. Arya frees Nymeria. So Sansa's wolf, Lady, dies in her place in King's Landing. Ned joins the small council, finds the crown broke, Vipers, Littlefinger, and Varys already striking, and learns they plot to murder exiled Daenerys Targaryen across the narrow sea. Orphaned Targaryen heirs, Viserys and Daenerys, smuggled from Westeros as infants, now reach for the Iron Throne. Viserys trades his sister to fearsome Dothraki Khal Drogo for a war host, receiving fossilized dragon eggs as dowry. Trapped among the violent horsemen, Daenerys masters their ways, wins Drogo's heart, and carries his child, while exiled knight Jorah Mormont, spy for King Robert, becomes her devoted protector, even as impatient Viserys rages for the army that will restore their dynasty. Westeros, Daenerys' tormentor demands a crown. Drogo answers by pouring molten gold on his head, crowning him in death, then vows his unborn son will rule the Iron Throne. Tyrion breaks his oath to kill the king after discovering Aerys hoards wildfire to burn his own people, then secures freedom by demanding trial by combat and hiring Bronn, who wins and pockets a fortune before the odd pair ride back to King's Landing. Meanwhile, Ned, helped by Littlefinger, exposes that Cersei's blonde kids are Jaime's, not Robert's dark-haired bastards like Gendry, so Cersei arranges a fatal hunt. Robert dies, naming Ned regent. After Robert's death, Ned Stark tells Stannis he is the true heir, so Cersei and Littlefinger have Ned arrested for treason. Robb Stark rides south with Catelyn, Theon, and a northern army, leaving Bran, Rickon, Hodor, Osha, and the direwolves to hold Winterfell. Catelyn secures passage by promising Robb will marry a Frey daughter. Robb captures Jaime Lannister in battle. Ned falsely declares Joffrey the rightful heir to protect his daughters. But the Mad Boy King beheads him anyway as Sansa, Arya, and even Cersei watch in. After Ned's death, Arya flees with Euron, Jon's grief nearly drives him to desert, but his brothers bind him to Mormonts ranging beyond the wall. Robb crowns himself king in the north, while Westeros fractures, and across the sea, Daenerys ends Drogo's agony, walks into his funeral pyre, cradling her dragon eggs, and emerges unburnt with 3 living dragons. Viserion, Drogon, Rhaegal at the head of a devoted army, heralding the rise of the Mother of Dragons as Season 2 opens on the chaos of Joffrey's illegitimate reign. Tywin rides off to forge alliances and, with visible disgust, names Tyrion, Hand of the King, the same hour Joffrey orders every one of Robert's brown-haired bastards slaughtered, and only the boy Gendry slips away to march with Arya toward the wall. Lannister swords ambush them, friends fall, Needle is ripped from Arya's grasp by Polliver, and the 3 survivors are dragged to Harrenhal, where Arya secretly frees caged killer Jaqen H'ghar. He repays her by butchering guards, smuggling them out, and pressing into her palm a braavosi coin. Stannis, Robert's dour eldest brother, claims the crown, but charismatic younger brother Renly charms half the realm and names Brienne of Tarth to his Kingsguard, winning her heart to seal power. He weds Margaery Tyrell while secretly loving her brother Loras. As Renly's star rises, Stannis embraces the Red Priestess Melisandre, who births a shadow that slays Renly. Brienne is blamed, yet Catelyn Stark shields her. So Brienne swears to return Catelyn's daughters, while every Tyrell bannerman except Davos watches Stannis slide into sorcery, while Robb Stark dispatches Theon to barter with Seawolf Balon Greyjoy. Balon spurns the wolf crown, crowns himself, and Theon, hungry for a father's love, sells out the boy who raised him, seizing Winterfell in a midnight blaze. Osha. Spirits. Gran and Rickon through secret tunnels toward the wall. Theon, unable to find them, hangs 2 farm boys in their place. Sister Yara sails in to sneer that Ramsay sacks Winterfell, flays the Ironborn alive, and claims Theon as his torture toy. Robb storms through Westeros, then rages at Catelyn for freeing Jaime, and later weds the nurse, Toysa, breaking his promise to Walder Frey in King's Landing. Yol in King's Landing. Tyrion, wielding power as hand, promotes Bronn, ousts Pycelle, plants Shae beside Sansa, and turns cousin Lancel into his spy after catching the lad in Cersei's. Joffrey plots to torch Stannis with the Mad King's wildfire, but Tyrion seizes the cache, ships little Marcella off to save Dorne, then springs his trap as Stannis sails into Blackwater Bay. Green flames devour the fleet and Davos with it. On land, the Hound's fire trauma explodes. He deserts. Joffrey shrinks from fight. So the dwarf no one expected steps into the chaos to shield House Lannister with his own life. Tyrion leads the Lannister charge until the King's Guard slashes his face. Loyal Podrick kills the traitor. Then Tywin storms in with House Tyrell, routing Stannis. Joffrey dumps Sansa for Margaery. Tyrion's valor is erased. Tywin retakes power. Warlock Pry plots to snatch Daenerys' baby dragons and crown himself King of Qarth. She turns the tables, her fire-breathing children incinerating. Pry then seals traitor Xaro inside his own vault, loots his gold, and orders Jorah to buy them a ship. Far north, Lord Commander Mormont's Night's Watch, including Jon, Sam, and Grenn, shelter with Craster, who weds his daughters and offers his sons to the White Walkers. Sam swears to rescue pregnant Gilly, while Jon joins Qhorin Halfhand to sabotage wildling camps. Hesitate, night falls. Jon seizes Ygritte as hostage yet needs her to survive while searching for Qhorin. Discovering beyond the wall, Her folk are exiles, not monsters, hardened after the walls split them from Westeros, but she still lures him into a wildling ambush led by the Lord of Bones, persuades them to keep him alive, and on the march, Jon finds Qhorin also captive. The old ranger feigns a brawl, forces Jon to slay him to prove desertion, while back at camp, Sam, Gren, and Ed unearth dragonglass blades, the only thing that can kill White Walkers. White Walkers march on the wall. Sam watches in terror. While the Lannisters battle enemies in King's Landing, Marjorie Tyrell charms the commoners, enraging Cersei. Lady Olenna schemes to wed Sansa to Loras, promising escape from Joffrey. Littlefinger, obsessed with Catelyn and Sansa, offers his own escape. Tyrion uncovers every plot to seize Sansa and control the North. Tywin counters. He marries Littlefinger to Lysa Arryn, binds the Eyrie to the crown, and orders Tyrion and Cersei to wed Sansa and Laura. Tyrion weds Sansa yet spares her bed. Brienne marches Jaime toward King's Landing, but Bolton Manlock severs the proud sword hand, plunging Jaime into despair until Brienne's kindness unlocks his heart, prompting Roose to trade the captive lioness for Jaime's safe escort back to Cersei, who finds him transformed, while across the sea Davos crawls from Blackwater's ashes to a broken Stannis, whose Red Priestess answers defeat with living flames. Davos recoils from the Red Priestess's fiery sacrifice, lunges to kill her, is jailed, and there, little Princess Shireen gently teaches the stubborn smuggler letters until Stannis frees him on oath. Arya smiles when the Hound swears he's quit the Lannisters and will trade her to Robb for Dragonstone gold. At the same moment, Stannis burns leeches of Gendry's blood. Damning Robb, Joffrey, Balon, and Davos steals the boy from the flames, earning a death sentence. Stannis stays at Melisandre's word. He'll need the Onion Knight when White Walkers surge. Sam, racing south with the watch, reaches Craster's Keep, greets Gilly's newborn, then flees a brotherly mutiny that slays Mormont, clutching girl and child toward Castle Black. Sam kills a White Walker with dragonglass to save Gilly and her baby. Far north, Jon Snow, pretending to be a deserter, wins Mance Rayder's trust and is sent with Torment Giantsbane's climbers to breach the wall so wildlings can flee the advancing White Walker army. On the trek, Jon and Ygritte fall in love, breaking his Night's Watch oath. Meanwhile, Bran, Rickon, Hodor, and Osha head for the wall. Bran learns he is a warg and seer, meets Seer, Jojen, and Mira Reed, and all turn north seeking the mythical. Bran dreams of mastery while Jon, branded traitor, flees wildling love. Bran wargs as Summer, saves him, then sends Rickon with Osha to Umber safety. Sam, meeting Bran, gifts dragonglass against White Walkers. Across the sea, Daenerys buys the Unsullied, frees them, burns the slavers, and wins unbreakable loyalty from Grey Worm and Missandei. Daenerys, flanked by her closest friends and Barristan Selly, once the Kingsguard's finest, cast aside by Joffrey, now fights to reclaim her father's throne, freeing slaves across Essos until Yunkai rulers hire the Second Sons to kill her. Inside that mercenary band, Daario Naerys slays his own, swears fealty to her, helps Jorah and Grey Worm topple the slavers, and the liberated city hails Daenerys as savior. Meanwhile, Robb Stark halts his war to bury his grandfather, weds Talisa. Despite a pact with Robb kneels to Walder, begging pardon and trading Uncle Edmure for a Frey bride. At the wedding, Roose Bolton whispers betrayal, the hall doors slam, and wolf-bannered throats are cut. Catelyn falls first, Robb last to a blade from his ally. Riverrun goes to Walder, the north to Roose, while Roose's bastard peels Theon's manhood and pride. Arya arrives too late, sees her mother's corpse and her brother's wolf-head crown, then rides off with the hound, murdering gloating Freys on the road, as Tyrion hisses that the North will never forget. At Joffrey and Marjorie's wedding in King's Landing, Prince Oberyn of Dorne secretly plots revenge against the Mountain. For the rape and murder of his sister Elia, Tywin forges Ned Stark's Valyrian steel into 2 swords, gifting one to Joffrey, who suddenly collapses and dies from poison. Cersei accuses Tyrion, prompting his arrest, so he urges Podrick to flee and cruelly ends things with Shae to send her back to Essos. As Lannister guards hunt for Sansa, Littlefinger spirits her away, and Jaime dispatches Brienne to find and protect her. Brienne receives a Valyrian steel sword, naming it Oathkeeper, while the Hound drags Arya toward the Eyrie to ransom her. Along the road, their prickly truce deepens, even as Arya reclaims her sword, Needle from the Lannister soldier Polliver, crossing another name off her death list. At the Eyrie, Littlefinger presents Sansa as his niece, weds the obsessed Lysa Arryn, then learns Lysa murdered her own husband at his command, and that he and Lady Olenna orchestrated Joffrey's fatal poisoning. Lysa's jealousy flares when Littlefinger kisses Sansa, setting a lethal trap. Littlefinger kisses Catelyn's look-alike, confesses he never loved Lysa, then kills her and seizes her home. Arya and the Hound arrive too late, learning of the death while Sansa hides nearby. Brienne claims she serves the dead. Roose Bolton sends Locke to hunt the still-living Stark heirs, while Ramsay, armed with broken Dion as a cringing pet, reclaims northern castles from Ironborn. Theon's sister Yara storms in to rescue him, but he is so shattered by Ramsay's torture that he clings to his tormentor, and Yara sails away, abandoning her brother forever. Across the sea, Daenerys liberates the last slave city Meereen, crucifies the masters, then stays to rule when older freed cities revert to slavery. Daenerys learns Jorah was once Robert's spy, but after loving her, he stayed loyal. She still exiles him. When Drogon kills a child, she chains her other dragons. North of the Wall, the wildling army slaughters villagers. Ygritte kills a boy's father, sending the child fleeing to Castle Black. Jon Snow returns, warning that 100,000 wildlings will soon attack the undermanned wall. Sam writes every great house, even the Lannisters, begging aid. On Dragonstone, Melisandre keeps burning victims for Stannis, horrifying Davos wins the Iron Bank's gold for Stannis' mercenaries, while Tywin warns Cersei that Lannister bankruptcy forces her to wed Loras and to betroth boy King Tommen to Marjorie. During Tyrion's rigged trial, Shae's betrayal seals his fate, so, spurning jury justice, he demands trial by combat. Yet Jaime's maimed sword arm and bronze-bought bride leave him championless until Oberyn Martell steps into the arena against the Mountain. Oberyn finally duels the Mountain to avenge his sister, swiftly poisoning him. Yet as he demands a confession, the giant seizes him and crushes his skull. Tyrion's horror turns to doom when Tywin sentences him to death. Cersei secretly revives the dying Mountain through disgraced Maester. Qyburn, Jaime frees Tyrion, who strangles Shae in Tywin's bed, then shoots his father on the privy, and Varys spirits the fugitive onto a ship for Essos, while back at the Wall Lock arrives in disguise. Locke the spy rides with Jon to silence Craster's mutineers, unaware the same thugs already cage. Bran, Hodor, Jojen, and Mira, blades flash, mutineers, and Locke fall dead. Jojen begs Bran to stay hidden, pushing him north toward the Heart Tree, where skeletal wights slay Jojen, yet leaf-born children rescue Bran and deliver him to the three-eyed raven. Far south, the wildling storm. As the Night's Watch battles the wildlings, Ygritte hesitates to kill Jon and is shot by Ali. Dying in his arms, Jon spares Tormund, then rides alone to assassinate Mance, only for Stannis' army to arrive, crush the wildlings, and earn the Watch's respect as Jon and Stannis seize Mance. The Sparrows rise in King's Landing, converting even Lano Lannister. Cersei arms the High Sparrow's faith militant who jail Loras for homosexuality, shattering Marjorie and freeing Cersei from their betrothal. Yet when Marjorie lies to defend him, she is seized for perjury. A message from Dorne warns that Arya Sand will kill Cersei's daughter Marcella. Jaime and Bronn sail south, promising Bronn a richer bride and castle. In Dorne, Arya, grieving Oberyn, demands blood. But Prince Doran shields his future daughter-in-law, so the Sand Snake Myrcella dies in Jaime's arms, poisoned by Ilaria. Cersei's scheme to use the faith militant explodes when the High Sparrow arrests her for incest, and regicide parades her naked through King's Landing, yet from the ashes rises an undead mountain ready to kill at her command. Across the sea, Arya enters the House of Black and White, where Jaqen demands she become no one. She burns her past but hides her sword. Needle then breaks training to stalk Ser Meryn Trant, the next name on her vengeful list. After Ned's fall, Arya avenges her sword tutor by murdering Maren. Yet the faceless men blind her for breaking their code. In the frozen wastes, Stannis tortures the defiant wildling Mance, then tempts bastard Jon with Stark legitimacy. But Jon clings to his Night Watch vow. Leaving Stannis to march alone on Winterfell, Brienne overtakes Littlefinger escorting Sansa, is spurned, yet shadows them, sensing treachery, and her fears prove true when Littlefinger betroths Sansa to the monstrous Ramsay, forging a Vale-Bolton alliance that promises only torment. Theon, shattered by Ramsay's assault on Sansa, confesses that Bran and Rickon live. Littlefinger's gambit places Sansa as future wardness, so whoever wins, Stannis or Bolton, he and she rule. Stannis' host plows through a killing blizzard. Melisandre demands Shireen's fiery death. Stannis refuses, then relents, watches his daughter burn, and sees half his horrified army melt away, yet still drives the remnants toward Winterfell's walls. After Stannis is crushed by the Boltons, Brienne executes the dying king for Renly's murder. Theon shakes Ramsay's grip and flees Winterfell with Sansa. In Meereen, Varys confesses years of secret Targaryen support, then watches helplessly as Jorah kidnaps Tyrion to regain Daenerys' favor, only for stone men to doom Jorah with grayscale. While ex-masters birth the murderous Sons of the Harpy to restore slavery, freed citizens clamor for the reopened fighting pits, pushing Daenerys toward a bloody reckoning. After the Sons of the Harpy slash Grey Worm and kill Barristan, Daenerys faces her own dragon's fury, chains them, and swallows her pride to reopen Meereen's fighting pits and wed Slaver, his Dar. In the stands, she sees Jorah, returned as a fighter, yet it is Tyrion, his gift, who slips into her trust while Jorah is banished again. Mid-bout the Harpy assassins strike, Jorah saves her, Drogon erupts, and Daenerys soars away on his back, leaving the arena gaping as, far north, Jon Snow becomes Lord Commander. Alliser Thorne and Jono Slint nurse election wounds. When Slint defies Lord Commander Jon Snow, Jon beheads him to cement authority. With Stannis gone, Jon sees annihilation looming. Ravens to every great house are mocked, so he barters land south of the Wall for imprisoned Tormund's wildling spears. The Watch revolts, mourning brothers slain by the very same wildlings, yet Jon marches north to Hardhome, wins 5,000 fighters, then watches the Night King's avalanche slaughter and resurrect them. Fleeing with Tormund and a remnant, Giant Woon Woon returns to Castle Black with Jon, who dispatches Sam, Gilly, and Baby Sam to Old Town for Maester training in anti-White Walker lore. Davos arrives begging aid for Stannis, but Melisandre's solitary return signals the king's fall. Palliser Thorne, young Ollie, and other resentful brothers, blaming Jon for sheltering wildlings, lure their Lord Commander outside and brutally stab him to death. Davos and Melisandre guard Jon's corpse while loyal Ed rallies wildling. Melisandre resurrects Jon Snow. He hangs Thorne and the mutineers, then hears the Red Priestess abandon Stannis and crown him the promised hero. While Bolton and Littlefinger hunt the missing Sansa, Brienne and Podrick rescue her and Theon from Bolton's soldiers. Sansa accepts Brienne's oath, Theon sails home, and Ramsay, after Roose blocks an attack on the Watch, slays his father, stepmother, and newborn brother to seize the North, stepmother's loyalty, and the captive Rickon Stark. After Ramsay murders Osha, Brienne and Podrick deliver Sansa to Castle Black, where she reunites with Jon and declares they must retake Winterfell, bound by his ended Night Watch oath. Jon refuses until he hears Rickon is Ramsay's prisoner, then rides to gather northern allies while Sansa dispatches Brienne to recruit the Blackfish, and Sam, told Gilly cannot enter the Citadel, defies the van and brings her and little Sam along anyway. After the Hound avenges the slaughter of pacifist Rye and his villagers, he rides north with old comrades Beric and Thoros to face the White Walkers. Meanwhile, blind Arya masters the Faceless Creed, refuses to murder actress Lady Crane, turns the Waif's hunt into a lethal trap in the dark, then declines Jaqen's praise and sails home, sword in hand, identity reclaimed. After Balon Greyjoy is murdered by his brother Euron, who seizes the Iron Islands, Theon returns to back Yara's claim, yet Euron is elected ruler and vows to wed Daenerys and conquer Westeros. The siblings escape with the fleet, racing to Daenerys first. Simultaneously, Jaime brings dead Myrcella to Cersei, promising vengeance, while in Dorne, Alaria and the Sand Snakes slay weak Doran and his son, and in King's Landing, Tommen betrays Margaery by allying with the High Sparrow, handing the Zealot supreme power. Tommen strips Jaime from the Kingsguard for lacking faith, sending him to oust the Blackfish from Riverrun. Brienne begs for a peaceful defection to Sansa, but the Blackfish refuses, so Jaime forces surrender through captive Edmure and watches the old knight die fighting. Walder Frey retakes the castle, yet Arya bakes his kin into pies, feeds them to him, then slits his throat. While Cersei schemes, Qyburn kills Pycelle, Loras joins the Faith, and Cersei detonates wildfire beneath the Sept, erasing her enemies in green flame. After Tommen leaps to his death, Cersei is crowned Queen of the Seven Kingdoms. North of the Wall, Bran trains with the Three-Eyed Raven, learning Jon Snow is the son of Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark, whom Ned protected by claiming Jon as his bastard. Bran also sees the Children of the Forest created the White Walkers. During a vision, the Night King attacks the Heart Tree, killing the Three-Eyed Raven, Summer, and the children, while Bran's consciousness becomes trapped in the past. Young Willis, linked to present Hodor, collapses in a seizure as Mira screams, "Hold the door!" The words warp into Hodor, branding him for life while the Whites tear adult Hodor apart. Bran, shattered by the truth that his time walk crippled his friend, flees with Mira and is saved by undead Benjen Stark, who names Bran the new Three-Eyed Raven and warns he must master his powers before the Night King strikes. Moments later, Ramsay murders Rickon, baiting Jon into the outnumbered carnage of the Bastard Battle. Just as Jon Snow's battered army faces annihilation on the blood-soaked field, Sansa gallops in at the head of Littlefinger's Knights of the Vale, smashing the Bolton line, Ramsay flees behind Winterfell's walls, slays the last giant, then is beaten senseless by Jon and left to Sansa, who locks him with his own starving hounds. The Stark banners rise again over Winterfell, while Jon and Davos exile Melisandre for Shireen's fiery murder. Littlefinger whispers dreams of iron thrones and queenship. Sansa coolly refuses and proclaims Jon king in the north, across the sea. Daenerys dragged to Vaes Dothrak as a witch. Emerging from fire untouched, Daenerys unites the Dothraki. Jorah bears his grayscale and love. She bids him heal and return. In Meereen, Tyrion negotiates while Varys sails to woo Ellaria and Olenna. Yet slavers strike. Dany storms the skies with dragons, crushing the Harpy forever. Theon and Yara pledge their fleet for Yara's Iron Island's crown. Daario stays to guard, and Daenerys at last sets sail for Westeros with Unsullied, Dothraki, Ironborn, 3 dragons, and her new hand. While Cersei and Jaime scramble to fortify Westeros against Daenerys, Qyburn forges dragon-killing scorpions, House Tarly swears fealty, and Jaime seizes Highgarden, letting Lady Olenna sip poison and whisper that she murdered Joffrey before the Lannisters strip her gold to repay the Iron Bank. Into this storm sails Euron Greyjoy, offering his iron fleet for Cersei's hand, receiving alliance but no wedding vow, yet vowing to return with a gift that will change everything. While Sam secretly risks everything to save Jorah from Greyscale, he uncovers a secret cache of dragon glass beneath Dragonstone, the very island where Daenerys lands to reclaim her birthright. She tests Varys' loyalty with death as the price of betrayal. Tyrion sets a trap for Casterly Rock, and Grey Worm marches toward war. After one last tender moment with Missandei, every heartbeat racing toward the collision of fire, ice, and fate. Unsullied seize Casterly Rock, only to watch Euron's fleet burn their ships and strand them ashore. At the same moment, Yara ferries the Dornish toward King's Landing, but Euron strikes again, slaughtering 2 sand snakes and dragging Yara, Obara, and Tyene in chains, while a shattered Theon dives overboard and vanishes. The swaggering victor delivers the women to Cersei, weds her after Tyene dies by the same poison once used on Myrcella up north. Jon dispatches Tormund to Jon names Sansa regent and warns Littlefinger to keep away. Bran and Meera reach Winterfell, his blank stare proving the boy she loved is gone. Arya rides in. Bran greets her with the Valyrian dagger meant to kill him. Ben spars with Brienne to a standstill, while Littlefinger starts poisoning sister against sister. Daenerys wants the throne, yet Tyrion persuades her to let Jon mine Dragonstone's dragonglass. When news of her army's defeats reaches her, she doubts Tyrion's loyalty. Theon, shattered, arrives with the last Ironborn. Jon reminds him of Ned Stark's legacy, sparking Theon to rally them and sail to rescue Yara. Randall and his son Dickon burn for refusing to swear to Queen Daenerys. Tyrion and Davos slip into King's Landing, where Tyrion begs Jaime to make Cersei join the war against the White Walkers and promises living proof, then sail back to Dragonstone with Gendry, while Tyrion and Varys whisper of the dragon fire horror. Jon charms Daenerys by stroking her dragons. Tyrion plots to kidnap a White beyond the wall. Jorah returns to his queen and pledges to march with Jon and Gendry. At the wall, they find Tormund holding Varric, Thoros, and the Hound. Though Gendry fears, Melisandre's plea assembles. Jon, Jorah, Tormund, Gendry, Barrick, Thoros, and the Hound beyond the wall to snare a White. An undead bear claims Thoros. Then Jon learns slaying a walker erases every White it spawned, so killing the Night King could erase the whole dead army. The whole dead army. Under siege, Jon dispatches Gendry to summon Daenerys. She roars in on her dragons, rescues the party on Drogon, but the Night King spears Viserion. Daenerys vows war on the White Walkers. After Jon swears fealty, together they parade a captive White before Cersei, who feigns alliance while secretly dispatching Euron to annihilate victor of the living dead clash. Disgusted, Jaime abandons his pregnant sister and rides north alone. At Winterfell, Sansa and Arya unmask Littlefinger's crimes to the lords, exposing his hand in Ned's death and the dagger plot. Arya executes Littlefinger for the Coe's Bran murder. Sam flees the Citadel with stolen texts, reaches Winterfell, and with Bran learns that Jon is the trueborn Targaryen heir, not a bastard, just as Jon and Daenerys, heading north as lovers, remain unaware they are aunt and nephew, while the Night King's undead Viserion smashes the wall, letting the White Walkers flood into the Seven Kingdoms and forcing every hero to rally at Winterfell for the final war. Bran forgives Jaime for the fall that made him the three-eyed raven. Sansa and Daenerys want Jaime dead, yet Brienne's word saves him. While the army braces for the White Walkers, Daenerys teaches Jon to ride a dragon and passion flares, but whispers of her madness and Sam's revelation that Jon is the true Targaryen heir fractured trust. Theon arrives in King's Landing seeking redemption, volunteering to protect Bran as disparate allies brace for a final stand. Arya shares her first intimacy with Gendry. Jaime knights Brienne. Sam gifts Jorah the Valyrian steel. Heartsbane and Melisandre returns from exile to ignite the Dothraki's blades as the Night King's army storms Winterfell above Jon and Daenerys. Duel the undead Viserion while below the dead breach the walls and close in on Bran. Ed dies shielding Sam. Beric bleeds out holding the Whites off Arya. Melisandre whispers, prophecy, keep his gift alive, while Jon and Daenerys ground their dragons as the Night King reanimates every corpse in Winterfell, women and kids screaming between enemy lines. Jorah hacks through to his queen and perishes in her arms. The living front collapsing, Viserion bars. Theon stands alone with Bran, who forgives him before he falls, and just as the Night King reaches for the seer, Arya Varia. Arya saves Westeros by driving her dagger through the Night King, obliterating his undead horde. Amid the victory feast, Melisandre walks into the dawn, removes her life-giving necklace and withers to dust. Her purpose done, Daenerys rewards Gendry with Storm's End. Jon swears fealty to Daenerys and vows to bury his birthright. Sansa, distrustful, leaks the secret to Tyrion and Varys, igniting whispers that Aegon Targaryen should rule. Varys schemes, Tyrion betrays him, and Daenerys unleashes Drogon's fire, reducing the Spy Master to ash. While fleets sail and armies march toward King's Landing, Jon bids Sam a quiet farewell. Arya and the Hound ride south. Jaime abandons Brienne and rides south to save Cersei. Euron ambushes Daenerys' fleet, killing Rhaegal and capturing Missandei at the gates of King's Landing. Cersei beheads Missandei, daring Daenerys to attack. Tyrion frees the captive Jaime, begging him to spirit Cersei away. Jon recoils from Daenerys' touch, recoiling from loving his aunt. Alone, where Regaels descends on the city convinced no one loves her. Alone, betrayed and dragon-winged, Daenerys descends on the city convinced. Daenerys and Drogon torch King's Landing from above, while Jon, Davos, and Grey Worm storm the streets. The Lannisters surrender, yet the Queen unleashes dragonfire on soldiers and civilians alike. Grey Worm's troops joining the massacre as Jon orders his men out. Through the inferno, Jaime duels Euron to the death, staggers off to find Cersei, while the Hound persuades Arya to abandon vengeance and save herself, leaving him to face the flames alone. The Hound hunts his brother through crumbling Red Keep corridors, slays the Mountain, but dies beside him. Jaime reaches Cersei too late. They perish in each other's arms as stone buries them. Daenerys proclaims global liberation over smoking King's Landing. Tyrion quits and begs Jon to stop her. Jon stabs his queen in the ash-strewn throne room. Drogon melts the Iron Throne and flies east with her body, leaving Jon and Tyrion chained, awaiting Jon. At the Great Council, Tyrion persuades every lord and lady that the throne must pass not by blood, but by vote. They acclaim the omniscient Bran as king, pardon Tyrion, and make him hand, while Davos, Brienne, Bram, and Sam join the small council chronicling the saga. Sansa crowns herself queen in an independent north. Arya sails west beyond every map, Grey Worm leads the unsullied east, and Jon, sentenced anew to the Night's Watch, rides north with Ghost and Tormund, where winter melts into spring.